So what do we have here, man?
What we have is our two calibers of UTM's man-marking cartridges. So they are a cartridge that's designed for force-on-force training or force-on-target, but primarily force-on-force training, where you're shooting man against man. The projectile, when it goes down range and impacts its target, actually puts a small colored wax mark on the threat, so you know where the round hit and how effective your marksmanship was in a combative situation when you're training. Some of the key features of this particular product, we found that with proper cleaning, lubrication, installation of the conversion kits into the weapon systems, that we can get between 1,500 to 2,000 rounds of use out of the gun without any malfunctions induced by the gun from fouling, from plastic, or from carbon buildup. Usually the malfunctions that occur with this gun is when we shot the gun too long, too many rounds have gone through it, and the gun actually runs dry or needs additional lubrication to continue functioning. With this product, compared to some of the others on the market, we found that the maximum effective range of the projectiles when the weapon's fired meets the range or exceeds the range listed in the company's product literature. We've also found the accuracy of the round as far as the size of the group it will hold, its maximum effective range is as tight or tighter than what is on the product literature. There's several different cartridges the company makes in the man marker round, but the man marker round for the 5.56, for example, has a green tip. That tells you that it's a reduced velocity round, so that if the round does in fact, or the projectile impacts bare skin or flesh, there's less potential for it to penetrate into the skin and cause injury. And it's separated from a higher velocity round that's used for force on target, which has a white projectile or white tip on it instead of the green. So the white tip is force on target, where you're not shooting against human beings, and the green is for, again, force on force, where you're shooting against human beings. It just has lower velocity, so it reduces potential for injury. So we've had in approximately, the last year we fired approximately 10,000 rounds of the 5.56. We only had one failure to fire out of 10,000 rounds, which is actually, that performance exceeds the SAMI and NATO standard for duty ammunition. With the handgun rounds, we've had no failures to fire with those in approximately 5,000 rounds or so that we've shot as a company over the past year.
How does it work?
So how does it work? So internally, there's two primers. There's a primer at the base of the cartridge. When the firing pin strikes that primer, that explodes and it forces the firing pin assembly forward. That firing pin assembly goes forward and strikes a larger primer, which actually produces the force that's required to send the bullet down the bore. When that happens, when the bullet's fired, the recoil causes the base of the cartridge to go to the rear. So when we're looking at cartridges on the ground, even if we see that they're in this configuration, we know that's an expended round. Sometimes we'll see them in this configuration where the base of the cartridge is still inside the cartridge case. There's no projectile, but that's because the projectile came loose, which we also don't see. Another feature about this product that I like is no part of this plastic actually touches the rifling in the side of the barrel. The sabot engages the rifling to impart spin for stability and flight of the round. So because of that, we find that there's very, very little residue left in the lands and grooves of the rifling of the bore. Thus, we can get the significant number of rounds downrange through the gun before it requires additional cleaning and lubrication.
Now, does this work in the guns without a conversion kit, or do you have to have a converted barrel?
Excellent question. The conversion kits, this is listed as a 9mm bullet, which means a 9mm chamber, but the bore itself is actually 8mm. So both the barrels on the handgun conversion kits are designed so that if a live round were accidentally introduced into the magazine, it would feed, but it wouldn't chamber into the barrel. So that's a safety feature that the company designed into it. For the M16, M4 series of rifles, we don't have a different barrel that we put on the gun, but we replace the bolt carrier bolt assembly. On that particular bolt that's on the conversion kit, the bolt, the firing pin is actually offset, and the primer on the cartridge is offset, so if a live round were introduced, the firing pin on the bolt would not hit the primer on a live round. So a live round on the M4 conversion kit would in fact chamber, but it would not fire. So a huge amount of thought went into the engineering and design, or the design process and engineering, to ensure safety of the participants in the exercise.
So you've been shot with these before. Compared to like simunition, what's the effect on living flesh?
So UTM recommends that you have long sleeve. The all exposed skin is covered. We believe so. In comparison to simunitions, at a given range, because the velocity of this projectile is a little bit slower and the weight of the projectile is less than the simunitions round, when the round impacts on bare skin, there's less damage to tissue and less potential for penetration into the skin than there would be with another product. But again, UTM and their safety protocols suggest that all exposed flesh be covered. But sometimes you can layer too much so you don't get pain compliance. The person that's being shot doesn't know they've been shot, so they continue performing as if they were still fully functional as a threat. They need to be shot so that, one, you have a positive effect of having been shot so that the scenario plays out real world. But secondly, we believe in pain inoculation. So the first time you get in a firefight, or whenever you get in a firefight and you get shot, we don't want that to ever be the first time that you've been exposed to an injury from a firearm on the receiving end. So having that inoculation to pain helps you stay mentally in the fight to continue to fight until you're taken out or you win the fight, if that makes sense.
It does. So they hurt.
They can, yes.
Yeah.
But not as bad as some of the other products.
Very cool. Now shoot him in the mask.
That's a good shot, Mr. B. Did that one go through?
Well done, sir.
Did that one go through, bro?
I saw it, like, that
A little bit.
Interesting.
It took like a minute though, that's awesome.
You did take it like me. You want to see?
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, that's not as bad. Thank God you had the paper.
If you didn't have the paper,
We don't want pictures of that, it's supposed to be...
Okay, you gotta flash.
Yeah, take that paper out of your shirt, damn it.
The paper and the shirt.
There we go. All right.
Now look at the paper.
You handled
All right.
it really well.
So hang on. Take your chest out like this so I can see all the No. Right like that.
You want to show my lousy one? We want to get those kind of like a trigger jerk.
Yeah. We get this nice and straight there. What'd you think there, boss?
He's going to beat my ass when this is done.
Yeah? You think?
Realistic training. It's what it's all about.